Alright guys, hello and welcome to episode 92, I think it is, of our Blackburn Rovers Football Manager 2017 save. So, this is going to be another double episode, and basically because the last episode was the match right before this, I've just jumped straight into the game to try and save time. Starting lineup wise, obviously we've got some players coming back from injury, like Kunz, opportunities to rest players like Augustinson. And to be fair, the fact that we kind of have a 5-0 lead on aggregate against Benfica allows us to rotate our side a little bit. I actually wanted to play Romeu at centre-back, but for some reason he's knackered. I'm not quite sure why. He must have been in a reserves game against the Regens or something like that. Again, if anyone missed the last episode, our Regens were all dreadful. But, yeah, let's just try and get this game out of the way and hopefully do a professional job of it. This one was a bit of a weird one. I was kind of tempted to not really live com this one after we kind of won 5-0. Thought I might as well. It should hopefully be a relatively laid-back game, not have to overthink things too much, even if we end up, going 1 or 2-0 down. Obviously, yesterday, in terms of, obviously, this episode might be uploaded at a completely different time to obviously today, which is when I'm talking. But yesterday, Miles announced on Twitter that they were going to do like a Football Manager 2018 announcement, and I think it's pretty cool of them to bring FM17 today down to £7. Obviously worth every penny, and I think it's really great. I think they did something last year as well, where they basically decided to give people that own loads of previous versions of Football Manager, like me obviously, a discount, like 5% off for every previous version of Football Manager you own, which is great. And this year they've actually decided to give everyone that owns FM17 25% off if they pre-order, or if you pre-order FM18. And of course, if you do pre-order from Steam, it means that you get access to the beta version of the game 2 weeks early. And, oh, hello, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Kunz right back from injury scores. 6-0 on aggregate now. But yeah, it obviously means that you get 2 weeks to start a save with. I am contemplating potentially doing a beta save. I know a lot of people opt to do a beta save and then do a proper save. And I think that's always a good idea on Football Manager, because when the game first comes out, you do sometimes get some strange things in the match engine that, it sometimes takes them about a month to iron out certain things, iron out certain bugs that maybe weren't addressed beforehand, because obviously they're up against a tight schedule and stuff like that. We'll play Kunz in midfield. Nano's kind of like a shadow striker here, and we'll give Barbosa a little bit of a run around as well. I did my 1,000 subscriber video probably a few weeks ago in context of this video in particular, where some of you guys were suggesting some ideas for potential saves we can do in FM18 or in FM17 once we actually win the Premier League with Blackburn. Like I said, there's still... Oh, hello. Nice goal. There's still obviously a big chance that we might actually... Sousa with the goal. There's actually a big chance that we might actually carry on with this save. I don't know. And obviously, there's obviously still a big chance that we might not even win the Premier League come the end of this season, because it is that tight up against Man United. So we will have to wait and see. Right, I thought it was a deflection. It was actually Sousa with the head. Nice stuff. Decent assist from Miguel as well. And yeah, I think in terms of deciding what our FM18 beta save is going to be, we say beta at work. The actual word is beta. I'm a software developer, so we have beta environments or beta environments. But yeah, so in case you haven't seen my 1,000 subscriber video, and whilst you've been watching this video, this wonderful 7-0 thrashing of Pep Guardiola, and you've come up with an idea for a potential fun save or beta save, let me know in the comments below, and I 100% will take it into account. And you never know, your choice might actually end up being what we go with. It seems like everyone actually plays tomorrow. Spurs, despite losing 3-2 to Barcelona at the Camp Nou, Harry Kane's back from injury, and oh my god, he was back with a boom, wasn't he? So Spurs have won that 5-4 on aggregate. And look at this, Barcelona were 3-0 up. They were 3-0 up Neymar 72nd minute. Oh my God, what a game that must have been. 88th minute goal from Keita to give them that 5-4 lead on aggregate. Bayern, however, they smashed Olympique Marseille 5-0, which is kind of a shame. But then again, we had Bayern in our group, didn't we? And they weren't exactly a big threat. So I'm not really too worried about that. I'd like to maybe face Galatasaray. It would be great if Galatasaray made it into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And Real Madrid, wow. Jordi Alba playing for Real Madrid. That's an interesting one. I think they signed him on a free last summer. 6-3 against Dortmund, but you never know, that could change as well. So let's fast forward to the results. Right then, here we go. So just before we jump into our FA Cup game against Man United, no pressure really on the FA Cup game. A part of me is kind of like, yes, let's win. A, because it's Man United, and B, because I want to try and win every trophy this season, simply because it feels possible at this current stage. But at the same time, I'd be gutted if we won the FA Cup, won the Champions League, and then lost the league, the actual Premier League. Knowing my luck, that'll happen. But yeah, so PSG brought things back. Well, obviously, they had a 1-0 win at home, and then Man United, Pogba, he scored in the 72nd minute and then got sent off in the 102nd minute. So it was 1-1 on aggregate, and then Paris Saint-Germain won the tie on penalties. Alright, FA Cup. So, I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought Man United would field a slightly weakened side, given the fact that they were playing Champions League football 2 days ago. They have actually opted to put Hazard on the pitch, who's only got about 81% condition. Lindelof on 84, Luke Shaw on 82. But, trying to be a little bit more positive, those are things we can specifically exploit. So because Luke Shaw is on 82%, obviously coming up against Matthias Kunz, he could very well struggle. We are going to look to mount most of our attacks down that right flank. Wojciech is also being given a license to bomb down. Just, gang up on Luke Shaw and cause him problems. We're at home. We can afford to have an extra wing-back bomb forward and see whether that pays dividends and see if we can be 1 or 2-0 up by half-time. Other than that, obviously we have given chances to Sousa to shine. Barbosa comes back into the side. He's trying to regain his fitness after a long-term injury. But we still have a nice balance of decent players as well. Dioniso, of course, he's played a lot of football in goal for us recently as well, and was our goalkeeper when we beat these guys in the Carling Cup final. Pretty much Man United in a nutshell. They're actually playing this Gonzalez lad, who's a bit of a wonder kid apparently. Looks like a very good player from Chile. Decent in terms of being an all-round midfielder. He's not too bad physically, but I was maybe expecting a little bit better technically from a Man United player, even though he is only 20 years old. But, oh well. So, tactics-wise, we're not really going to reinvent the wheel. That's the only real thing we've changed. We're just going to see where it takes us, really, and tweak as we go along. On paper, this should be a little bit more straightforward, than our cup final against them. A, because it isn't a cup final, and B, because we're at home. Hold on to the ball, get men forward. Most importantly, don't give Man United opportunities to counter-attack using the pace they've got with Melo and co, because to be honest, that's what they really are going to be looking to try and do. So, Kunz, he dodged past Lucas Lima, and El Sayed is going to pick up the ball. Now, one thing we did in our cup final was actually change our set pieces to make sure we have one person left behind, and that's actually something I've forgotten to do. So, well, when I say one person, I mean an extra person than usual, because always when I play against Man United, always causes me problems, so I'm going to do that just now. Right, now that's been done, let's enjoy the rest of this highlight. So we can see Wojciech is starting to push up a lot more to try and cause Luke Shaw problems, but we do lose a ball in midfield. We're playing quite deep, given that we're playing at home, but you've got to be careful against a team like Man United and their pace. But 10 minutes in, doesn't really seem like it's clicking for us just yet. Man United having the better, really, opportunities of the half. So we're going to push our defensive line a little bit higher, look to use the offside trap. Not necessarily a great idea against a team with their pace, but Hazard isn't exactly fully fit, so I'm not too bothered about that. We're playing Augustinson as an IWB, so it should be okay. We're going to move our mentality to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more standard, untick these guys as well, and look for the overlap. Obviously, it might not benefit us for Augustinson on the left-hand side. We're looking to exploit the right-hand flank and start actually using Varjek a lot more. That's really where I want to try and focus on getting the ball. That's where we've got a knackered Luke Shaw. It's where I feel like we could get balls into the box. Luke Shaw, 70%, again, do feel like something we can exploit. So the problem is Kunz can't play out on the wing, can he? So let's switch these guys around. Make sure his man marking is still intact. And again, want to really just try and get the ball down to this lad. We're going to go a little bit more direct, see if that can help us create a few more opportunities against Man United, but at the same time I will tell the lads to be a little bit more disciplined. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew against a counter-attacking side like Manchester United. We've got 2 yellow cards in midfield, which isn't really ideal, so for that reason Kunz will drop into midfield. Barbosa will take this left-hand side role. Nano will come up and play up top on his own, and I think as the game progresses we could bring on Douglas for Sousa. So really, at the moment, just kind of looking to keep an eye on any substitutions United might make. As always, cheeky demand more. I just want to see us at least get a shot on target. Niall Devine is playing. I'm not really sure who that is. Yeah, I don't know who Niall Devine is, but the commentator was just saying that a certain Niall Devine was all over another player. Niall Devine. Does anyone know who this guy is? Nope. Commentator was making up a name. Right, okay. The only reason why I paid so much attention to that was obviously because I thought it could have potentially been, a youngster being subbed on by Mourinho, something we could look to exploit. We have finally had a first shot on target. El Sayed has come off and Bernardeschi has come on, who gives them a lot of technicality. And for that reason, given that our defensive mid is kind of man-marking, that attacking playmaker of theirs, I think it's a good time to actually bring Douglas on. Honestly, trying to get anything down this right-hand wing has completely backfired. Giroud has come on for Eden Hazard, and I think it's probably not a bad idea to switch back to what we're normally used to doing. Now, one thing we are going to do, just taking a quick look at this United side, we can see that both Lindelof and Luke Shaw are pretty poor condition-wise, so I'm going to try and actually injure them. It kind of seemed like a bit of a meh move, but you got to do what you got to do to try and win games, right? And Lucas Lima's already on a yellow card, so we're going to try and wind him up as well. Kunz hasn't exactly had a great game. Obviously, as you can see, we've gone strikerless again, and we've just moved Varjek to become an IWB. We're going to start to exploit the middle like really we normally do. Stick retain possession back on a little bit as well, and ditch that creative freedom off as well. Going to slightly increase our width, simply because it allows us to really assert ourselves on the pitch a little bit wider. We are at home. I can afford to take the odd risk or two. But at the same time, it might not be the best of ideas, simply because Man United are bringing on some very fast players. Varjek, yellow card. Varela, ex-Man United man, is going to come on. Kunz is very tired, but he's going to have to deal with it and stay on the pitch for now. And yeah, so Man United have already had one man injured, who was, of course, that attacking midfielder, which is why Bernardeschi has had to come on. But we have improved this second half, as we can see in the bottom right-hand side. It is always difficult to gauge these kind of things on key highlights. Again, we're really stepping our game up here. And what I'm going to say now is that we're going to go to an attacking mentality, simply because it's the FA Cup, and I don't really want a replay. But they're out of the Champions League, and we're still in the Champions League. No, we're going to go for it. We're going to go for it. We need less games, to be honest. So, we might as well. 2 minutes to go, stick everyone forward, and hope we don't have to deal with a goddamn replay. Tell him to hoof it forward as well. What a boring episode. Oh, hello. We might actually have a chance here. So, I'm going to be gutted if we concede. Lima plays it forward to Grabovac. Varela in the right place at the right time. And, well, there's a big hoof from Dioniso. It is going to get picked up by Lucas Lima. And Grabovac, oh, an unbelievable miss. That's what happens when you get in the minds of Man United. Mind games with Mourinho in his little red tracksuit, bless him. Oh, he's losing it, isn't he? Considering how poor we were first half, the fact that we've come out of this game with being the only team with with any shot on target, I think is kind of impressive. And we did well to try and change it around. What? End of 90 minutes? I thought you'd get a replay in the FA Cup. Oh, what? I swear you get a replay in the FA Cup. Oh, God. Okay, we reset and go again, I guess. Well, I made my substitutes far too early, didn't I? Oh, for God's sake. Flipping heck. Oh, Bernardeschi now has moved over to the right-hand side. I've brung my tactic back in again. Oh, God. Playing Marcus Rashford in the middle of the park. Can't help but feel like we're going to get completely overrun now in midfield. Okay, so naturally we are going to have to look to retain possession a little bit more now. Okay. Oh, for God's sake. We're going to look to try and control the game, drop the tempo a little bit. We don't really have the legs, it has to be said at the moment, to really do what we want to do. And just try, I think, and simplify things a little bit. I wouldn't be disappointed if it went to a penalty shootout at this stage. I am quite frustrated because I feel like I was playing for the replay and now this has happened. Thanks for that, ref. Thanks for letting me know. Right, okay. We can see, based on the commentary, that Giroud's pace is causing us problems. 96, 100. This is probably when we try and no longer bother about the offside trap a little bit, reduce our passing directness, reduce our tempo a little bit, tell them to be a little bit more disciplined, and yeah, we're knackered. We are absolutely knackered. Niall Devine. So Niall Devine is the ref. That makes sense. Then why did it say that the referee was all over a player? I don't get that. The referee trying to tackle our players. I mean, the good news is that despite their fresh legs, Man United haven't managed to yet get a shot on target. It must be pretty boring to be this lad in goal. We can't make any subs, can we? What a shambles. What an absolute shambles. I thought it would be a replay. It's always a replay for the FA Cup. Right, okay. Rashford wins the ball back in midfield, but Douglas is one step ahead of him. There's Piaka with his knackered little legs. We're going to mount an attack here. Barbosa needs to make sure he doesn't get tackled. Alenya looking for the overlap. Maybe if the wing-back finds Piaka to Kunz. And there we go. There's a wing-back who needs to be able to cross the ball in. And, well, it was a good clearance there from Wardle. I think he's one of United's regens. But we're keeping possession pretty well. If Nano can play in Piaka, who plays in Barbosa, that should have been our first goal there. That really should have been our first goal. Okay, there's Lucas Lima injured, like we wanted to. And, yeah, it does look like this game is probably going to be going to penalties. I'll tell the lads to tighten up. I'm not really happy with what this, condition-wise is going to do to our current run of form in the league. I was expecting a replay. I really was. And I made subs on the assumption that... we needed to bring on fresh legs on the assumption that there would be a replay. Bernardeschi's pace, though, oh my God, he's going to whip this in. It's going to be 1-0 to United. And we just about managed to get rid of it. Alenya keeps a cool head. What are you doing, lad? What? Douglas, I know you want to leave, but Jesus Christ, give me a break. Are you kidding me? Right, waste time. Take the game to penalties. Oh my God. I thought there would be a bloody replay. Come on, counter-attack from this. Get men forward. We might be knackered, but so are they. Hoof that forward, Callas. No, it doesn't. And we are going to be going to penalties. Jesus Christ, what a game. Can you imagine, Oh. Do not lose the ball there. He's being sent off? Right, okay. So, yeah, I'm not normally a big fan of choosing who's going to take penalties, but I'm going to do it now. But I'm not going to choose Douglas because he wants to leave. And we already saw how he cocked up earlier. So what I'm going to do is choose these guys. Kunz has to be our fifth one, right? German, you need your Germans taking your penalties. They're going to be our first five, and then after that, Douglas will probably get chosen automatically, which you'd probably expect anyways. So let's actually change the camera maybe to something a little bit nicer, to behind goal low. That looks pretty nice. But here we go. So who's actually in goal? It is actually going to be De Gea, but despite that, Alenya makes it 1-0. Can we actually reverse this? No, we can't reverse this camera. I just think it would have been nicer if instead of being behind the goalkeeper, be behind the guy that's going to shoot. But Dioniso, he's young, and Marcus Rashford subbed on in midfield, misses the first penalty for Man United. And just imagine what this is going to do for morale. If after beating Man United, in the FL Cup final, we now knock them out of the FA Cup on penalties. It's going to hurt Mourinho and his boys. But Gravovac, who, to be honest, should have got the winner for Man United after Douglas messed up. He scores Man United's first penalty. Nano should be able to put this one away with ease, but he doesn't. May have possibly jinxed it there, but he was up against De Gea. Two Spaniards up against each other. Lucas Lima is injured, and it's going to be saved by Dionisio. Only 21 years old, but held his breath, made the save, and Barbosa puts it past De Gea with 3-1 up now in the penalty shootout. Do feel like Bernardeschi will be able to put this one away. Quality player on this game, and he does. I think as long as we score this one, we win the penalty shootout. And I think we always wanted the German to take it, and we're going to win the penalty shootout. There's Dioniso running in front of De Gea as well. There we go. We huffed and puffed. And even though we had quite a poor first half, I think we turned it around. I've got to feel sorry for Man United. Obviously, penalty shootout against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. And they've just lost a penalty shootout again to us. But we turned it around. We improved. We made some small changes. We started seeing more of the ball, creating more opportunities. And we were the ones with 7 shots on target to their 0. And yeah, they had 2 clear-cut chances. But let's be honest, Man United should have won that in the sense that Grabovac had that opportunity. So given how much of a clear-cut chance it was, the fact that he didn't take it means, I think, that they didn't really deserve to win that game. Because you can't afford to miss chances like that. And you get, what's coming to you. Not really happy at how knackered we're going to be after this game. But a win's a win. Just noticed something that's shocking. We've had a player stolen off us, and I'm not quite sure how. So if we look at our transfer movement, loaned out Dan Puckett in the summer to Norwich, and they somehow exchanged him to Sheffield Wednesday. We've just lost a player. What? He didn't even belong to Norwich for them to give him to Sheffield Wednesday. What? He's not amazing, but we never sold him. I just gave him to Norwich on loan. And it's like Norwich have just pretended he's their player and exchanged him to Sheffield Wednesday. Which to me makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand how that works. See, it doesn't even show that he's joined Sheffield Wednesday. It just shows that they've given Isaac Hayden to Norwich as a part exchange. And obviously that part exchange deal must have included my player. I mean, I've seen a lot of mad things on Football Manager in my time. But losing a player that's contracted to you, that you loaned out, and the team you loaned him to, pretending he's their player, has to be right up there with one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I don't know if it's me losing my mind, but I don't know. It pretty much sums up this episode, to be honest. Nothing's going right. So to kind of round off this very weird episode, we're going to see 2 draws. FA Cup semi-final draw, where I hope we just don't get Man City. Okay, we get Newcastle at St James's Park. That's not too bad. So it's probably going to be us versus Man City in the FA Cup final. Hopefully I've not jinxed that one. And of course, in a few days' time, we're going to have the quarter final draw for the Champions League as well. So Bayern beat Marseille. Roma saw Basel off. Napoli, unfortunately, I really wanted Galatasaray to get into the next stage, get knocked out. And Real Madrid, after beating Dortmund 6-3 in the first leg, win 2-0 in the second leg. So we thought 7-0 was impressive. Real Madrid decided, no, we're going to score 8. Another interesting thing as well is that apparently Man United have a takeover bid. It's not like they don't have enough money to spend. But anyway, so here we go. Automatic draw, Champions League quarter-final, Bayern PSG. Hopefully we get Roma. We do get Roma. Real Madrid or even Man City would have been a much tougher tie, I think, to Roma. So obviously I'm not going to say we're in the Champions League semi-finals just yet. We're fighting on a lot of fronts right now. FA Cup, League, Champions League. Whilst Man United are only left in the league. So that could end up being a decisive factor with all the fixture congestion. Really important that we try and keep as many players fit as possible. But next episode, as you may have conveniently guessed, is going to be our Champions League quarter-final game that is actually going to be coming incredibly thick and fast in Rome. Only 12 days to go. So that, I guess, is going to be the next episode. Episode after that, second leg. But hopefully we can do what we did against Benfica and just smash them 5-0 at their place. But if you enjoyed this incredibly confusing video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.